City of Covington Legislative Meeting, Board of Commissioners. Today is Tuesday, September the 9th. The time is 6:01 p.m. Calling the meeting to order. I ask that you please stand for a Pledge of Allegiance, led by Commissioner Downing.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Downing. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Ackrey?
Here.
Commissioner Downing?
Here.
Commissioner Smith? Here. Commissioner Tebby? Mayor Washington?
Here.
We have our quorum and are duly qualified to conduct business.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. May I entertain a motion to dispense with the reading and approve the minutes from August the 26th, 2025?
I'll motion.
Motion by Commissioner Ackrey.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Downing. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Looking at the public comments, before we engage in public comments, I have a brief statement to read. As we approach our upcoming public comment session, I want to emphasize the importance of maintaining a respectful and civil environment. We truly value hearing from all community members, and we want everyone to feel comfortable coming forward and speaking their minds. To ensure that everyone has a fair opportunity to speak, we'll be reminding participants of the following guidelines in accordance with City Ordinance 30.08. Each speaker will have up to 3 minutes to address the Commission. Comments should be directed to the Commission as a whole and focused on the issues at hand. We ask that all remarks remain civil, free from personal attacks, and without any form of intimidation. Intimidation or threatening language will not be permitted. Please note that while the Commission may occasionally ask for clarifying questions, we routinely do not do so during the public comment period. Additionally, while each individual has up to 3 minutes to speak, the overall public comment period will be limited to a total of 30 minutes. We are committed to making sure that everyone feels welcome and comfortable sharing their viewpoints. Thank you all for your cooperation in making this session productive and respectful. With that, Mr. Gallagher, will you please come to the podium? And sir, if you can, yes sir, right there. And if you just state your name and your address, please.
My name is Paul Gallagher. I live at 107 East 15th Street here in Covington. And what a nice pleasure to be able to speak here tonight to the commissioners of Covington, Kentucky. And the reason that I'm here today, straightforwardly, is I am seeking for the commissioners to look at the protocol of 911 and the ambulance service here in City of Covington. On June 24th of this year, I had to call 911 to have my wife taken to the hospital. They came in a professional way. I have no gripes, nothing to say bad about the hospital, the service, 911, or anything. Just want to tell you the facts. They come in a professional-like manner, took my wife out. That quick, they starting to drive away. Hey, where are you taking my wife? And a gentleman was there, and I don't know if he's an EMT or the driver. Now, there's some big distinctions between an EMT and a driver. He says, where would you like us to take your wife? I said, there's a hospital over there at Simpson Way. So off they went. I went and got dressed, drove down there. About that time, they was taking her out and going to the next hospital up at Edgewood Hospital. Everything was going all right, and until 2 weeks ago, I got a bill from the hospital. So I looked over the bill. Okay, so we had to go to the hospital to get some work done on my wife, and I paid the bill. And so didn't think much about it. But then I did call up my insurance company and say, where's the printouts on all these bills, and where's my statements, July statement, August statement from my insurance company, to try to reconcile the bills. Well, she says, what's your concern? I said, 2 ambulance rides, how much is that going to cost me? And she looked through it and she says, we don't have the bills yet, but there's 2 bills. You may have to pay them. So that's the basis why I'm here. The protocol, professional people would come in their little red trucks or big red trucks. They should know when they look at your wife, take her temperature and everything. This is about temperature. They should go to the appropriate place. According to your protocols, if the temperature is over 103, according to the fire department, and 102, according to the my insurance company, maybe.
Mr. Gallagher,
Yes.
I'm sorry, but your 3 minutes are over.
Well, thank you for hearing me. I don't want to take up any of your time.
So just one second, sir.
Yeah.
So Commissioner Downing has a question, a clarifying question under our rules.
Yes. So if I may, I want to make sure that we take away the salient points of what you'd like for us to address. So what you're looking for us to do is you're looking for us to make sure that we can talk with our department about the protocols that we have regarding the ambulance pickup and drop off, and making sure that we have clarity around the kind of the protocol that's applied there as it impacted you and your wife. Is that correct?
Well, pinpointed down, if there's a breaking point at 101 degree temperature, is anything over that, they have to take them to the nearest place. Mm-hmm. But the hospital in Simpson Place Way is a Band-Aid place. It's not meant for long stay. My wife was in the hospital for maybe over 3 weeks. It was very serious. I thought I was going to lose her. But if it's a serious thing, they should shortcut that hospital and go up to Edgewood. Now, I know there's a difference of 2 or 3 miles difference if you add up between the two, and it's shorter to get to Simpson, but they don't have the facilities there. So in behalf of the citizens of City of Covington, why I came down here tonight, so they don't get shocked and find that they got 2 bills for ambulance going to 2 different places, that it goes to the right one.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker will be Mr. Sam Phillips. Mr. Phillips.
Hello, Samuel T. Phillips, 2250 Jane Lane, Covington, Kentucky. We, the people of Covington, Kentucky, gratefully acknowledge the native nations of Turtle Island on whose ancestral homeland we gather, as well as the diverse and vibrant indigenous communities who make their home here today, not limited to the Cherokee, Hopi, Chickasaw, Shawnee, Lenni, Lenape, Miami, Osage, Chippewa, Shoshone, Grass Folks, and Choctaw Nations, Anishinaabe peoples, land back. Red Dress Day was May 5th, a day of raising awareness of the missing, murdered indigenous peoples who have been taken violently by this United States, disappeared and cruelly uninvestigated by the systems in place to protect all the people, particularly indigenous women of colonized Turtle Island, America. September 30th is Orange Shirt Day. It's right around the corner. It's a day of remembrance of Native children. Some 18,624 reported by the Department of Interior, where 973 of these American natives, Alaskan and Hawaiian included, died in U.S. residential schools, institutions engineered to forcibly assimilate indigenous communities into an American culture of white supremacy, effectively attempting to disappear sovereign nations by cultural genocide between 1819 and 1969. As Kentucky, specifically Covington, has a destructive hand in the displacement of indigenous peoples, particularly the Shawnee, Cherokee, and the Miami tribes, it is our responsibility in facilitating an awareness of the atrocities of our country, our state, our cities has committed to steal and the land that we walk on today. September 30th is a day of solidarity and telling the truth of dark histories in order to heal and reconcile for colonial violence and honoring the memory of Native students who will never make it home. This is also a day to uplift tribally controlled education systems. As allies, we can contact our federal elected officials to ask for their support in recognizing September 30th. And also we can wear and hang orange shirts acknowledging the dark legacy of boarding schools and which creates space to tell Native stories. And in these ways, we are given opportunities to work toward healing together for the benefit of Native students, families, and communities. And lastly, because it is important how we are telling our stories and to avoid supporting legacies of land theft and cultural genocide, I've begun the process of inquiring how we can obtain the services of the Mellon Foundation's Monuments Project, which is a foundation aimed at transforming the nation's commemorative landscape to ensure our country's collective history is more completely and accurately represented, supporting efforts to express, elevate, and preserve the stories of those who have been overlooked, and explores how we might foster a more complete telling of who we are as a nation. And I used to speak with Christopher Myers. He is the historic preservation and planning specialist.
Mr. Phillips, that's 3 minutes.
Yeah, if you can give me a name of who has that position now, I would like to be in contact and speak with them, because I used to kick around ideas with that guy in the past. So
Okay.
Thanks for
you.
listening. All right.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker, Mohammed Ahmed.
Muhammad Ahmad, 729 Edgecliff Road here in Covington. Mayor Washington, I don't have a script. I don't have anything written in front of me. I just wanted to speak honestly and authentically from the heart. You all know, obviously, I come here very impassioned at times, probably maybe more impassioned than I should be. But my religion teaches me that if I see something I don't like, that I should change it with my hands. And if I can't change it with my hands, I should change it with my tongue. And if I can't change it with my tongue, that I should at least hate it in my heart. And this tongue my Creator has blessed me with, I can be out of line sometimes, and I recognize that, and sometimes that's a fault I have. And that's why, Mayor, I want to apologize for maybe things that I've said or done that were out of line or inappropriate and maybe even infactual. And, going back to the part I mentioned about hating things in your heart, I harbor no hatred or ill will towards you or any member of the commission. I may hate things that are said or done, and maybe the way that it's done or not done as I think it should be done. I hold no ill will, no hatred towards former Vice Mayor Steve Frank. I hate that he openly approves of the mass murder taking place in Gaza, and I pray for him, and I pray that he wakes up to the dark reality of what's happening. Commissioners Downing and Smith, I harbor no ill will towards you all. I don't approve of some of the things that you might do, or maybe I don't agree with some decisions, but by no means do I hold any ill will towards you. I have no ill will towards Chief Wheatholder nor the Covington Police Department, including Officer Staten. I just strongly disapprove of what was done on the Roebling Bridge in front of my very eyes, which I think I mentioned was traumatizing for me, but by no means do I harbor any ill will towards any members of law enforcement. And as much as I might speak on hating things, conversely, I want to also give added appreciation to Commissioner Ackrey. I know Commissioner Tebby's not here, but I appreciate you guys. I know you're only in your first year, and no strings attached. I just really appreciate what you guys have done. And I know he's retired, but sitting with us today, former Commissioner Hayden. I really miss, we agreed to disagree on a lot of things, but I actually really enjoy it, and I really miss it a lot. I didn't thank you when you retired, so that's actually long overdue, like probably 9 months overdue. So again, I just wanted to make that clear for the record. I love this city. I've lived here for 3 years. I'm not from here, but I'm from Kentucky, so I love this city as much as I love this state. And so Again, Mayor, I want to thank you for the good things you've done for this city, not just now, but when you were a commissioner, or I guess technically vice mayor. And I don't hate Covington. I hate what Covington could become without justice, but I just hope you reflect on the things I've said in the past and take the good from it and leave behind that which was wrong. And yeah, that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And for your remarks last week, I accept your apology. Thank you for coming before the board. Our next speaker, Mr. Hull.
Hey everyone, good to see you again. I want to start off, I know Commissioner Ackery just spoke to me. I am excited to hear about some positive movement towards one of the things I'm going to be talking about. I wanted to start off with a quick quote that means a lot to me in how I approach what I think we should be doing in our city. The police are the public and the public are the police. And to me, that means the police can't do their job without the trust of the public, and likewise, we cannot be safe without the trust of the police. Regardless of what your thoughts on policing are, there is a world that we live in, and systematically, it is unlikely that we will be able to remove police. Human nature makes it difficult, to say the very least. That said, the biggest reason that that is true is because the police are members of the public who are paid to devote full-time attention to the same safety that we should all be spending our time thinking about. The public, in my opinion, will always lack trust in people that they only observe enforcing and punishing. The key to restoring that trust, I think, is seeing our peace officers, and I think it's very telling and very important that Kentucky state statutes refer to our officers as peace officers, not law enforcement officers. We need to see them and our city officials spending more time promoting peace and acting to prevent the occurrence of crime than they do responding to the existence of crime after the fact. Some ways that that can happen: officers walking around the community more during normal business days, not just events. The use of passive infrastructure improvements, i.e. speed humps, to reduce the need for vehicle policing in the first place and free up officers to be more engaged in their community. And the use of non-officer first responders to divert the vulnerable away from the justice system and toward aid and housing in the first place. I'm here today to ask the Commission to commission a committee or somebody to investigate ways that we can work with the new police chief to identify possible ways to reallocate police resources away from vehicle policing and more towards community engagement to create a more trusting environment for all of us. This should result in increased safety for our officers and our community, net gains in our budget, and a better Covington for everyone. We've had a rough year with news stories. I think I've been very clear on that, occasionally to some people's dismay, but that's the way it goes. And I believe that a new police chief in place offers us a chance to go into a new year prepared to demonstrate that we are not what we're being shown in the news, and that we are capable of being a more community-focused city. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Hull. Okay, that concludes our public comment period. Now we'll move to the rest of the agenda. Under presentations, Bridge the Gap, 4th Street Bridge update by our city manager, Charmaline.
This way so I can see all of you. Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. While we're pulling up the presentation, I'm really here to kind of give you an overview of the strategy that we've developed based on the two major road projects that are upcoming in the city. And we know there's a lot of questions that residents and businesses may have about these road projects. So part of our strategy is how do we communicate these in an ongoing manner on these projects that are long-term for our community. So before I start, I did want to let you know that we have a lot of resources actually going towards these projects. The strategy itself, I will be managing, but our Director of External Affairs, Sebastian Torres, is also an integral part of it. Our Communications Manager, Dan Wohler, is going to be an integral part of the communications aspect of it. Our Director of Special Projects, Elizabeth Wetzel, is also focused on the aspects of both of these projects that the outcome of which will hopefully be for the betterment of Covington. So in addition to that, our chiefs are now engaged in the traffic circulation, what we call the movement of traffic plans. So I offer all that to let you know that we have a lot of city resources that are being dedicated towards managing this project, the strategy, which we know is going to be long-term for our community. So you'll see why we're calling it Bridging the Gap as I go through this presentation. So first off, this strategy is really designed to keep our residents, our businesses, and our visitors all informed about these two major projects. And I think you all hear about it a lot. We certainly do at City Hall, and we understand there's a lot of information that we're still waiting on about these projects. And the two that we're talking about are the Kentucky 8 Licking River Bridge Replacement Project, which is the 4th Street Bridge Project, and then, of course, the Brent Spence Bridge Corridor Project. The two timelines you're going to see here are nothing new. It's been reported in the media. It's on the KYTC project websites. And I think everybody understands that these projects are led by KYTC. I will say that we have very frequent updates with the Cabinet about District 6, about these projects, and we're able to bring concerns. So that is happening. They are committed to working with us on communications. But both these projects, the details of some of these things are still being worked out, which is why we really cannot, we don't have much to share on the projects themselves besides what probably the community has already heard. So this is the 4th Street Bridge project timeline. I think we all know the bridge is going to be closed in January. The demolition of the existing bridge is anticipated to be sometime in the spring of 26. Then we'll go through a construction phase and for 2.5 years, and then we will see the bridge open sometime in the summer of 2028, which, by the way, there's a really good website. If folks haven't checked that out on this project, it is ky8bridge.com. The other one is obviously the Brent Spence Bridge project. I think we all have heard a lot about it over the year or two that KYTC has been working on it. We expect a more detailed construction schedule to come out sometime late this year. But what we do know is, if folks haven't heard it, the existing bridge will remain open while the construction of the companion bridge happens. So we've just heard a lot of, well, oh my gosh, if they close the bridge, then all of the traffic is going to be diverted to Covington. Well, there's going to be some of that, and I think we all know that. But the current bridge will remain open while they work on the companion bridge. Again, the details of this, how it happens, the closures, the anticipated timeline, those are all things that are being worked on right now. And I'm not really here to talk about the projects themselves. I'm really here to talk about what is our overall strategy in getting our community through these two major projects that are going to be anywhere from 3 to 7 years long, depending on the project. So we understand more than anybody can imagine the need for communication and outreach. We know we have a very robust community that has a lot of concerns about it. So we are working on several different things when it comes to communication. And our communications manager is already very tied in with the public information officer at KYTC District 6. So we're already talking about how do we coordinate communication. We know what our community is interested in knowing. You know about the project. So how do we bring those two things together so that our community is informed? So we're talking about everything from timelines, wayfinding, alternate routes. We're talking about business promotion. We're talking about how do we do community engagement on a project of this scale and this timeline. We are talking about launching a Bridging the Gap portal where our residents and our businesses can go and get all the information that we can provide in one space so they don't have to go to multiple areas. And then, of course, social media seems to be the mode of communication for many different things. So we will be using that as well. And then, of course, we have our newsletter, which we know a lot of people are signed up for, but we encourage more people to sign up because that will be a very good form of communication for us with folks. We are also going to be relying on our community partners, and we've listed everybody that we've reached out to. We know that our resources as a city are limited, but we know that we have some excellent partners. So how can these partners help us through some of these strategies that we'll develop along the way in implementing those things? And some of it might be communication, some may be able to help us with programming, and just in thinking outside the box about how do we get the community through this. Ultimately, the goal, though, is we know that our neighborhoods are concerned and we know that our businesses are concerned. And from a business perspective, they're thinking, how do we continue to bring that traffic downtown in order to keep our businesses going, in addition to a lot of other things. And then, of course, our residents and our neighborhoods are thinking about what happens when all this traffic is diverted through our neighborhoods. So we want to find a way to make both of those happen. We know there are different concerns, but again, we're trying to work through the best way to inform everybody about what's going on. We also don't think that we have an answer to everything, which is why we're asking for a business group to come together and help us through what might really help their businesses weather this period. And we're going to do the same with our neighborhoods, and we're trying to figure out a good way to communicate with the leadership in these neighborhood groups so that that information can be disseminated in an effective manner. So that's essentially the scope of what I know. There's not a whole lot of details here, but it's our start. I just want to promise you and the community that we are on top of this. We understand the concerns. We understand what people are expecting from us, and so we want to get ahead of the curve and offer top-notch communication, top-notch strategies that will help our businesses. We're thinking about all of it in a very comprehensive manner. So that's sort of a preview of what is expected. I'm happy to take your thoughts or questions or concerns, Mayor. However,
Commissioner Ackrey.
City Manager, can you give us an idea of when the first communication will go out to the city?
So we know that, I don't have an exact timeline, but we know that the first thing we will visually see is the closure of the 4th Street Bridge in January. So we know if I'm a resident in October, I want to know some details on how things are going to work. So we will definitely have something out probably much sooner than that, but just to be on the safe side, we will start communicating more regularly from October.
Commissioner Downing.
Could I ask that by next week we have an understanding of when that is? Because the reality is we've got residents asking us now about a lot of these same kind of details. We can direct them to the site, but understanding when that communication is going out can help us kind of allay those fears.
Absolutely. Yep, we can get you a timeline on a communication.
Vice Mayor Smith.
Just two quick things. If folks are looking for help in these situations, is there going to be like I guess, who should they reach out to? Should they reach out to our Economic Development Department and the retention folks, or what would you suggest if they're worried about what's going to happen with the bridge?
So in our Bridging the Gap portal, we will put contacts for specific
Perfect.
things. So if it's businesses that are concerned about incentives and weathering the storm, then it might be economic development. But if it's a resident worried about how the detour is going to happen and things like that, it might be our director of special projects. So it just depends on what the question is going to be. But again, no matter who they reach out to here at the city, we promise that we will
Sure.
get a response back.
And then the only other thing that I was just going to toss out there, I know that everyone who does business in this city needs an occupational license, and I know it's hard to communicate with all the business owners. I'm assuming there's not some sort of functionality that we have within our system to where everyone that applies and has an occupational license, we can't necessarily blast information out to them to let them know. I have no idea if this exists, and you might not know either, but that is literally one of the only ways I know to reach that many people. Do you have any idea?
I don't, but we can certainly look into it.
All right. Thank you very much.
Any other questions for the city manager?
No, just thank you.
Thank you. Seeing none. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, next item on the agenda is the city manager's report.
Mayor, that was my
That was it?
report. Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
no problem, ma'am. Thank you. Okay. New business, will the clerk please report the consent agenda?
In order accepting the resignation of firefighter Jacob Hughes, Fire Department, effective September 14th, 2025. In order accepting the resignation of HR Specialist Tanya Baldwin, Human Resources Department, effective August 20th, 2025. In order accepting the resignation of Budget Director Brandy Ott, Finance Department, effective July 30th, 2025. In order approving the hire of Joseph Ewald as Budget Director in the Finance Department, effective September 10th, 2025. In order authorizing the mayor to sign a contract peace officer agreement with Marcus Jordan. In order authorizing the mayor to sign an interlocal agreement with the Kentucky Division of Emergency Management. In order approving the purchase of 2 Ford Bronco Sports for the Covington Public Works Department from Fuller Ford. In order authorizing the mayor to execute a forgivable facade agreement with Kathleen Jones. In order authorizing the mayor to execute a forgivable facade agreement with the Center for Great Neighborhoods of Covington, Inc. In order authorizing the mayor to execute a commercial rent incentive agreement with a Servant's Heart of Covington, LLC. In order authorizing the mayor to execute a commercial rent incentive agreement with Dirty Dog Spa, LLC. In order authorizing the mayor to execute a commercial rent incentive agreement with Tax Smart Business, LLC. In order authorizing the mayor to execute a forgivable historic electronic sign incentive agreement with KJR Real Estate, LLC.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I'll entertain a motion to accept and adopt the consent agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Vice Mayor Smith.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Downing. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, will you please report the first reading of the ordinance?
An ordinance amending Section 45.02 of the Covington Code of Ordinances, changing the due date for city taxes.
This ordinance is considered to have its first reading. No other actions needed, correct? Correct. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Next item, business commissioner discussion. Second item, commissioners' comments. Vice Mayor Smith.
Just really quick, we had our first Recreation Commission meeting last week, and I wanted to thank everyone in attendance. It was very fruitful and informative and engaged, and I was thankful for it. And thank you, Brandon Holmes, for setting up the schedule. And a lot of folks have a lot of opinions on a lot of things that they want to see the city doing, and coming to these sort of special meetings when you see them is really an opportunity for you to have your voice heard and to support these sort of initiatives. So if you're interested, please definitely come to the next one. I know there's a couple folks that I wanted to particularly invite to support it. I believe it is November 6th is the next meeting, but I will reach out to our communications director to make sure that I quoted that correctly. But it's just an invitation to come help out if you can. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. No other comments? I just have one comment. There was an item on Mr. Gallagher brought up about the fire department. I would encourage the body to reach out to the city manager for clarification on those items. Mr. Gallagher reached out to me a few days ago, and our teams looked into it. So I ask you to please work with the city manager on that. Seeing no other business, we are adjourned. Thank you.